What's up, everybody? Namco and Dustin here with Fantasy Smack Talk. Week 1 is in the books. So in this Week 2 show, we're going to do our standard stuff, answer forum questions, go over our studs duds. But first, very special announcement. The first,
our Week 1 winner for our pick'em, Brian from Michigan. Congratulations. Got 12 out of 16 right. Pretty good for how nuts Week 1 was.
I did terrible.
We'll be in touch to get your address, and your shirt will be in the mail shortly. You're going to love it. All right, Brent, our first forum questions comes from T. Whitey. Which running back should he start? He's got Hightower versus Arizona, Bush versus Houston, or Beanie at Washington. As of right now, 70% of people on the homepage are saying Hightower.
Yeah, I got to go with the community here. I would go Hightower as well. He's going back facing the Cardinals. He's got a chip on his shoulder from them trading him away. Shanahan isn't being crazy with his running backs and switching them every down. Hightower got all the touches for running backs but one last week, so you gotta love that fact as well. Hightower's the play. Alright, Dustin, Robot Foods got a QB question. Wants to know Matt Ryan against Philly or Henny against Houston. 57% of the community is saying Matt Ryan.
I mean, I know why you're struggling with this one. I mean, Henny's coming off of that record-breaking game last Monday night. That game was just ridiculous. I mean, obviously, don't expect a repeat of that. But he does have a decent matchup against Houston, so I understand why you're questioning this. But Matt Ryan's at home. I know it's a slightly tougher matchup. I just think he's the safer play here. He has more weapons than Henny does. It's just an overall better offense. I think you stick with Matt Ryan at home. Although I do think both have the potential of having a good week. All right, next one, Jags fan 09. Another quarterback question, Flacco at Tennessee or Freeman at Minnesota?
This is as close as you get. I mean, it's a coin flip. I'm going to stick with Freeman in this one. I loved him before the season started. I'm not going to bail on him so soon. You know, I really like the fact that he's going to get you some yards with his legs. Of course, I think he's going to throw a passing touchdown or two. So I'm saying you go with Freeman here, but again, I couldn't hate on it if you go with Flacco. But Freeman, that Minnesota D just looked terrible against San Diego. They put up a lot more points. They had a lot of turnovers near or in the red zone. All right, Dustin. FF Bisbee's got running back question for you. He needs you to pick two out of the following. Bradshaw against St. Louis, Hightower against Arizona, Benson at Denver, or Reggie Bush versus the Houston Texans.
Well, before I answer this one's actually going to be on a post that Mike's doing now. This is the Fantasy Forum Fix post. This is going to be one of the ones that's featured in there. We're all going to answer it. So you'll get an in-depth analysis of what all three of us think, and there'll be a poll question next to it. So definitely check that out. But for this one, I'm going with Hightower as my first choice. I think he gets into your starting lineup. Like we were saying earlier, we like his matchup. And then for me, it comes down to your league settings. PPR, I go with Reggie Bush. Standard League, I go with my boy Benson. They played pretty well last week. As you know, they knocked me out of the Survivor. One time I root against them. But, you know, they're going up against that terrible Denver run D. Look for Benson to get a ton of carries and have a decent game. Studs, duds, and sleepers. We'll start with my picks. I'm going with Phillip Rivers as my stud going up against New England. We all saw what happened in the New England game last week. You know, I'm hoping for another 900 passing yards. You know, really high scoring game.
Let's break 100. Let's just break 100. Over under in Vegas.
But seriously, I think it could be a high scoring game. I'm liking Phillip Rivers this week. My dud wasn't too solid last week, so I'm going with a safe pick this week, Peyton Manning. I think he's a lock for 0 points. I'm really but no, seriously, Cadillac Williams is my dud. He was picked up in a lot of leagues. I think he's going to get played in a lot of leagues, but he's going up against the Giants D, who held Hightower to under 3 yards a carry last week, and I just really don't see the Rams playing with a lead in that game. They're so banged up on offense, not liking Cadillac Williams. And my sleepers, Rex Grossman going up against Arizona. Arizona's D looked terrible last week, gave up over 400 passing yards to a rookie in his first game in the NFL. So I'd like to think Sexy Rexy can give me at least 300 and a couple touches.
All right, my stud, very near and dear to my heart, Mr. Arian Foster. And the reason I'm making him my stud is simply because don't worry about the injury if you got him. If he's playing, you got to plug him in the lineup. He did practice this week, so it's looking really strong like he's going to. I think he's going to do great behind his great offensive line and run all over Miami. My dud is the rookie. Cam Newton's my dud. Green Bay's had 10 days to plan for this guy, first of all. Their defense is a million times better than the Cardinals. I mean, I don't see Cam Newton throwing for over 400, 2 touchdowns and rushing touchdowns for the rest of this year. It might be as bold to say. I don't know if he's going to do it for the rest of his career again. I just think
that's pretty bold.
It is bold. I think it was a little fluky. Who knows? He could prove me wrong. And then my sleepers, Nate Burleson. Detroit's going up against Kansas City. The Bills scored 1,000,000 points against KC last week. And Eric Berry, done for the year. He tore his ACL. That really, really hurts their secondary. I'm a big believer in the Lions this year and Matt Stafford. I think they're going to try to double team Calvin. Nate's going to find the end zone. That's my call.
All right, let's get into Mike's picks. His stud, Adrian Peterson, going up against that weak Tampa Bay run D. You know, the Vikings did hardly anything through the air last week.
39 yards, McNabb. Great job.
So they're going to rely heavy on Peterson. Look for a heavy dose of him this week. His stud is Sean Green versus Jacksonville. You know, Green's still in a heavy timeshare with LT, and the way to beat Jacksonville is through the air, so we don't really expect a lot of runs going on with Sean Green. He's not liking him this week. And his sleepers, Jacoby Jones going up against Miami. Like we were saying earlier, Miami gave up a ton of yards through the air last week. Walter looks like might be out. Jacoby Jones in for the starter. And this actually might be a good pickup because he could hold on to that job. He's a talented young receiver. So that's it for our week 2. As always, get in those forums. We've been really active lately. We love it. We get in there as much as we can. Get into those games so you can win with those sweet t-shirts. I'm Dustin. This is Brent. Good luck week 2.